Nation, welcome back. But this is not my time. Yes, this is the preview, the post-draft special. But we are here for one man's incredible story. Before we begin, before we recap the draft, before we preview, the floor belongs to the champ from 0-16 to the king of the mountain. Michael Fontanello, the floor is yours.
My run last year was a lesson to all teams out there. It was a lesson to all the Jacobses out there, all the Goodmans out there, that things may be going not your way. I mean, I had a defeated season literally, and I came back and I fought my way every week, every point, every half point, every injury. I mean, I found my Antonio Andrews of the world, and we plugged it all together last year. I'd like to thank my ownership for allowing me to work with the people that I had and bring in guys that would allow me to go all the way. They've been a big support, them and their family. And this trophy that I have at my house now is not for me only. It's for all my other players that we won together last year, because I didn't win it myself. So, with that being said, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Dennis Derpy Hassett. Excellent job. Excellent job on the trophy. I mean, wow. It's impressive. I didn't think you had that kind of craftiness in you, honestly. So, thanks again. I mean, I'm impressed. Me and the trophy had a good night last night. I'll leave it at that. But let's get. I'm ready to. Me and Porch are ready to dissect each team. We're gonna go through as far as we're gonna run through the team, what we think the holes are of the team, the X factor of the team, and what place we think they will finish at the end of the regular season before playoffs start. And let's get it going.
We begin with the champ. Second ring, Dennis Hassett. He will now look to tie Dennis Hassett's record of back-to-back championship victories. And he was quiet during the draft. He was quiet, very cerebral, did his classic font moves, but they're always genius, as we know of last year. I didn't hear a lot of Font's team looks good during the draft. I didn't hear a lot of oohs and ahs.
That's
but
fine
at
with
the end
me,
of the
man.
day, when you look at Font's team, Cam, Shady, T.Y., Demarius Kelsey, very safe, very solid. He's got a pretty good bench. I like the team. Font, you know this team best. Who do you think your X Factor is going to be going to
My X Factor, no, without a doubt, is going to be Jeremy Hill. Can he return to form? He was dreadful last year. And a 1A X Factor, I'm going to go out on a limb, it's going to be LeGarrette Blount. I think LeGarrette Blount is going to get the ball a ton this year, and I think he's a key to that offense. And LeGarrette Blount,
he's a big boy goal line back. Yeah, Jeremy Hill always seems to catch fire at the end of the year. Hopefully he can start off big time. T.Y. Demarius, that's a combo that I know all too well. I think Font's one of the top 5 teams in the league. I think he has a chance to repeat. Let's see.
Music to my ears. Dalton, Freeman, Mark Ingram, Decker, Jordan Matthews, Jordan Reed, Hearns, Chiefs D, Chris Boswell, and a bunch of shit in the bench. I like this team, said nobody, because I hate this team. I think that he reached for Chiefs defense. I think Jordan Reed will be active for 3 games this season before he's knocked out with injury. I think Devonta Freeman has bust written over his forehead. If he has any hope, it's going to be Tom Brady coming back and just being superhuman. Yeah. And we've seen him do that, so it's possible that he could sneak into the playoffs. I don't see it, though.
Yeah, Zach is a habit of nature. Zach being a loser. Zach's very predictable in his draft. Clearly, he got nervous and reached for the Chiefs D. He didn't know who to take on the board, so he made the reach.
How about you take the best defense available?
And clearly, I think he had a goal go safe with the running back, Devonta and Ingram. Now, I don't know. I think he played this one a little too safe.
We all know Timmy Hightower is going to be just biting little pieces off of his workload, and
Brady is the only superstar on this roster. I think the X factor is Brady. If Brady cannot carry Zach to the playoffs, then
X factor is Brady, and 1A X factor is going to be Jordan Reed's health.
I think he's got one of the best running back tandems between Gurley and Doug. Aaron Rodgers, come on. Solid receivers between Macklin and Sanders. The tight end, three-headed monster, Bennett, Graham, if he can stay healthy. We know Eifert's going to come back at some point mid-season. He's got a flex there. Lockett, Tavon Austin. I think it's a very good team. Fonciano over there. What do you think of Deef's Nuts? Whatever
I'm
the fuck that
yawning
means.
not just because I'm tired and I've had a long day. I'm yawning because this is a nice team. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, he's got some. I mean, his. If you read off some names right away, Rodgers, Gurley, Martin, Macklin, that's amazing. I think Sanders is about to hit a decline. I like Sanders, but he's not going to be the superstar he was. I think Peyton Manning really elevated Sanders' game, and him not being there is going to affect him. Bennett's probably going to be a stud in New England, especially if they're double covering Gronk and they're taking a lot of pressure off of him. I don't know. It's a good team, I guess.
I just want to know what Deef's Nuts means. Is that some kind of inside joke?
It's how he says these nuts, because he's got a speech impediment.
On to the next one. Kevin Sinator is out of this league. I think that cancer is finally gone, and I think he was still somewhat attached to Ben Hoffman.
He was still going radiation once a month. And
I think that this is the year Ben Hoffman finishes with an over 500 record. With Reed, of course, cannot forget. What do you think of his squad font?
Well, let's read it down. Bortles, Miller, Carlos Hyde, Alshon, Cobb, Eric Ebron, DeMarco Murray, Eagles D, and Robert Aguayo.
Love Robert Aguayo.
Now, I think Blake Bortles is going to continue to progress into a nice quarterback in this league. He's nothing elite, but he'll be serviceable. Lamar Miller, everybody loves Lamar Miller this year. I'm not crazy about him. Carlos Hyde, if he stays healthy. Carlos Hyde, if anybody remembers, when he started off last year, he was a beast.
I remember
he just got hurt, and we forgot about him.
I remember seeing on this show he was like a top 5 back, man.
Yeah, so that's Carlos Hyde could be huge for them. Alshon Jeffrey's playing for a contract. I think Alshon Jeffrey's going to go off this year. Cobb with Jordy back, it's going to take some pressure off him and allow him to just do his thing.
100% agree. Eric
Ebron,
he's injured, but he's got Dwayne Allen to back him up.
Eric Ebron, Brandon Pettigrew, they suck, both of them. The reason I said Pettigrew is because he was a former Detroit Lions tight end who did absolutely nothing. I think Eric Ebron is already past his prime, and I think he's 23. So
I like MMB. I'm an MMBD fan this year. I'd like to see what happens on that ride.
Jason Foley, boys and girls. Let's give him a clap. Way to go, Jay.
You did it, Ed!
You did it for
You did it, Ed! You did it!
This is completely Ed living vicariously through Jason.
Oh God.
God,
I don't know if we can keep that in. He might come after us.
I know. I'm dead. So
yeah, no, that's not me. That's not making it.
So yeah, it is. So congrats, Jay. First of all, that's awesome. He's got Phillip Rivers, David Johnson, Ryan Matthews, Keenan Allen, Jarvis Landry, Zach Ertz, Mike Crabtree, Texans D, Dan Bailey, and some guys on his bench for Set, Garcon, and Vereen. This is a team that I think is the worst team in the league.
Ooh.
I think it is. I like Jay. Jay's got a lot on his plate right now. And trust me, I wish I had that kind of stuff on my plate right now, man. I wish I was hanging out with Miggy Nightly, playing ping pong with JD Martinez, etc.
Hanging out with Justin Verlander and his
Kissing
beautiful
up,
wife.
kissing Brad Osmus's ass all night. So, I think this team's horrible. I think David Johnson's going to be okay. I think he's going to be great. I think Keenan Allen's going to be great. Other than that, I think his team is aging. I think I just gained 5 years in age just by looking at this team. It's making me old.
Yes, and let's be fair to Jay. He did not draft this roster. It was someone by the name of PJ.
Some 9-year-old, apparently.
9-year-old named PJ. Yes, and I do agree. It's not a very sexy roster. Rivers is Rivers. Love David Johnson. Matthews. Can Matthews be a solid RB2? I like the Keenan Jarvis combo. I like Ertz. I think that's going to be his core, those three guys. But other than that, I think he's really going to have to make some magic on the waiver wire this year to really contend.
Jay, this is not your year. I can tell you right now. You got a lot on your plate. Let's keep the blinders on. I want to see you in the majors ASAP. So, man, don't worry about this year in fantasy football. It's like you already dug yourself too deep a hole.
Jay's coming off a rough year. He might be incoming for another one. The best part of his draft was bringing the trophy. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
We just came off talking about Fish. You think he's the worst team in the league? I think Derp is the worst team in the league. And I don't think it's competition. I like Russell Wilson, obviously. Ties to my heart, a part of my favorite team ever that I had.
That you did not win a championship
I think Dez is going to go off this year. A lot of conditioning problems going on with Kelvin Benjamin. That's a little iffy. I do not like Thomas Rolls as nearly as much as I did a while ago. Langford could be something, but it's a real roller coaster up and down team. I see Dez and Russell really being the guys to carry him. Font, what do you think?
First of all, let me just mention something about Benjamin. I mentioned this at the draft. I've been seeing Benjamin at our weekly Jenny Craig meetings. He's going to be okay. He's hit a point where he has lost enough weight, but in order to lose more weight, he needs to start working out. So he's hit a little bit of a wall, but we've been talking through him with him at meetings. He's going to be fine. Okay. This team, I think Jeremy Langford. I wanted Jeremy Langford so bad. I think Jeremy Langford is going to be a beast this year. Yeah, there's a couple of the guys who could get carries in that, but I just think I love him. I love Jeremy Langford. Dennis Hassett peaked early last night. He brought the trophy. He was, he got congratulated, pat on the back, and then he just started pounding him back. I mean, shit.
Late in the draft, I'm 100% certain he just drafted players based on how funny their names were. I mean,
him and Goodman in the back corner there. I mean, holy shit.
Those two need to get a room.
I got depressed just peeking over there.
Let's see, Laquan Treadwell, Jared Goff, Wendell Smallwood.
I think if Hassett was so drunk last night, I think I heard him say, for my flex, I want to put Gabby Gargano on my flex. I think I heard that.
Why does that name sound so familiar? Did she go to high school with us?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
So it was that kind of stupid drunk derpy last night. Great job on the trophy. I think. Where do you think he finishes this year, Porch?
I think he finishes in the bottom tier, not even sniffing the offs.
Yeah, he's got some nice pieces, like I said, but just not enough firepower. He's gonna be like a ninth place finish, I'd say. He has Carson Palmer, Latavius Murray, D'Angelo Williams, Allen Robinson, Jordy Nelson, Colby Fleener, Deshaun Jackson, Rams D, Graham Gano, Matt Jones, blah. So, first thing I look at this is we drafted Matt Jones. Porch drafted Matt Jones 4th round, and now I don't see Matt Jones in his starting lineup week 1. That's mismanagement. That's not good, Porch. I mean,
I got D'Angelo.
In your first 4 rounds, you need to have guys who you're not even thinking about plugging or not playing in week 1. I mean, wow. That could be a headache for you all year. We all
Not
know
really.
we all know Matt Jones is going to be fighting with Ryan Terrain for carries. It's going to be.
Where's he these days?
He's still in Washington, I believe.
No way.
All right. I think this team could be decent. I think if D'Angelo Williams can stay relevant all season,
No way.
I don't see it staying
No
like
way.
that.
I don't agree.
His
Yeah.
X factor and X factor 1A will be Latavius Murray's progression. If he can become a surefire top 10 back this year, which I think he can, and also Kobe Fleener. If Kobe Fleener can go to New Orleans and finally live up to his potential that we've been hearing about for all these years, I think Kobe Fleener could. I think bold prediction: Kobe Fleener finishes a top 5 tight end.
Yeah, New Orleans turned Ben Watson into the best tight end in fantasy. I'm not too worried
Kobe
about
Fleener's
Kobe.
a lot younger and he's got a lot more talent.
My strategy for this draft was go receiver, and possibly try to snag D'Angelo late, and that's exactly what happened. Matt
You snagged
Jones.
him from Aiello.
Matt Jones was my safety net. I needed to get another starting running back in the mid rounds before I started reaching, and I did, and I was I don't regret it. If when D'Angelo goes, hopefully Matt Jones will get a nice spot in that lineup, and I have his replacement. I liked my draft this year. I was nervous, but I'm happy with my team.
Porch had a decent draft. I think Porch finishes right around 7th to 8th place. I think Porch could sneak into the playoffs this year. Andrew Luck, his boy. Adrian Peterson, his boy. Jay Ajayi.
I don't even know where he is.
Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Kyle Rudolph, Doug Baldwin, Broncos D, Justin Tucker, Josh Gordon, Tevin Coleman. Blah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this team is pretty fucking good.
It is a very big sleeper team.
I did not realize until I just looked at his lineup. He has a very nice starting lineup.
Imagine this receiving core midway into the season if it is what I'm imagining Goodman hopes it is, and he's probably got some good trade bait. Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Doug Baldwin, and Josh Gordon.
That could be I think what he'll need to do is trade one of those wideouts for a tight end. And if he does that, I think Goodman's going to finish. Goodman's definitely a playoff team this year, I'd say.
Yeah,
Preseason looking at him, he's a playoff team.
Yeah, if Andrew Luck can be Andrew Luck, if Adrian Peterson continues to fight history and continue to produce like this at his age, I don't know what's going on with Jay Ajayi. Is he even playing in Miami behind Foster? That could be a major hole.
You know Foster is going to get hurt at some point.
Yes.
And I think the Dolphins have already come out and say that Ajayi is going to get the first look.
Yes.
So I think Ajayi is at least a flex.
Yes.
I think was it Baldwin? Baldwin was hanging out there a while on the board,
Yeah,
and nobody took him.
Yeah.
So Goodman got a nice steal with Baldwin. I think Baldwin's a very underrated
He is.
wide receiver in Seattle.
Yes, I think Rudolph sucks, but as Font said, possibly trade one of those wideouts for a tight end. I'm going to say right now, best draft in Goodman's career.
Yeah. And he stayed pretty sober too. Well, not really.
Not really, no. I think it's a decent team. It doesn't wow me, but I don't think it's bad. Golden Tate, I think, could be a bit of a trap, but we'll see what happens in Detroit. Love AJ. Let's see if Jonathan Stewart can do something. Jamal Charles, what the hell's gonna happen?
Jamal Charles is the ultimate X factor this year for Camel.
Yes, Derek Carr. I think we all like Derek Carr. Good young guy. We'll see. Frank Gore. He's banking on that 1,000-yard streak to pay dividends. Packers D. Everyone's big high on Packers D. Delaney. Steve Smith Sr. on the bench. That's who I'm looking out for on this roster. Font, who are you looking out for?
Like I said, I think Jamal Charles is the ultimate X factor of this draft. I would like to say. Jamal Charles 2 years ago was what did he go, number 1 overall, number 2 overall. I mean,
He was first rounder, definitely.
he's still in his prime. Absolutely. I think Jamal Charles could. Jamal Charles was a beast 2 years ago. I mean, he was catching. He was a beast in the receiving game. He was a beast on the ground.
He
They run their run heavy offense with Alex Smith there.
Yeah.
So I think Frank Old Man Gore is. You know what? I've been saying Old Man Gore's been done for 3 years, and Old Man Gore just keeps churning.
he just manages.
He just
to
keeps
stand
moving
by.
those legs with his walker in front of him. He just keeps going to the end zone, and I don't see why at this point he's already defied all odds. I think Frank Gore, give him another 1,000-yard season because he's already proved us wrong he's at least proved me wrong for 3 straight years. I thought he was done a long time ago.
Yes.
Say My Namath. I don't. Say My Namath is not a playoff team for the first time in a long time.
Mark doesn't like hearing it, but a good portion of his playoff run was built upon the old waiver wire system. That has been overhauled. We'll see who the truly good owners are this year. I agree. I think this is finally going to be the year Mark doesn't make it. Mamba, similar to Mark's team. I don't think it's a great team. I don't think it's a bad team. Obviously, Brandon Cooks and Odell, one of the better receiving corps in the league.
And Michael Floyd, too.
Michael Floyd, yes, he has one of the better receiving corps in the league. But other than that, I look at it. Antonio Gates starting tight end in 2016.
He's on the he's on the same diet and exercise plan as Frank Gore because shit, these guys have been so-called done for 3 years and they're not. So
we got Eli Manning, Bland, Eli's Eli.
But it's the Eli to Odell show, which could be huge.
Yeah, we'll see. It could be huge. In the weeks it isn't huge, Mamba's probably going to lose. Then you go to C.J. Anderson, who I've cooled down on a little bit, but I think he'll be one of the better backs. And then there's the man, there's the move, there's the pick that you, I, and even the commish were talking about all night after the draft and before this.
DJ Jr.
How early did you take Duke Johnson? What round did Barry tell you to take Duke Johnson?
Mamba will say, and I heard him defend this pick last night. He said that I think he said he missed the first 3 games last year or 4 games last year, and he finished as a top 20 back or whatever it was. I think any running back in Cleveland is not someone you want to target. I think Crowell still is a part of that offense. He went so early with Duke Johnson. I think there was other guys that were sure 3-down backs at the time that he took Duke Johnson Jr. It's not a sexy name. It's the kind of name that I want to just look at in players available. You know, I think Odell's a stud. You know, I love Odell. Odell Cooks could be huge for him this year. I think Mamba, based on how the Giants' offense runs this year, I think Mamba could be good or could be dreadful.
Yes, I agree.
I think Mamba is right on that borderline of making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But right, it's a borderline playoff team. It all depends on Odell and Manning's connections this year, and also will Duke Johnson live up to the hype that Mamba has for him. This team is known as Porch's Redemption Team. TCP, Tolzien and Curtis Painters, Ardenio, and Mr. Chris Durkin, Tyrod Taylor, Eddie Lacy, Arian Fostercare, Antonio Brown, Sammy Watkins, Clive Waldford, Rashad Jennings,
And
Jets D, Josh Brown.
Gotta love getting those suspended kickers with the last pick.
This team is. I want to say that this team. Thing is, I think these guys were total class acts at the draft last night. I think they were very serious. We saw a side of them that we haven't seen in a while, or even ever since they've been in this league. They showed that they can be serious about this league and they can really take it seriously.
Yes.
And I'm not impressed with their team though.
Yes.
I'm impressed with the way they handle themselves, but their team is not. I don't know. I'm disappointed.
TCP has one of the more interesting stories that we have in Guru Nation. They're still relatively new to the league. Haven't been in very long. Probably the most forgetful champions ever.
They went to the top of the mountain and the bottom of the shit pile.
They debut. They talk a lot of shit. They think they're smarter than everybody at the draft.
They don't
do great. Then out of nowhere in their second year, they're still talking shit. Still think they're the smartest guy in the room, which technically Cohen is, but who the fuck cares? And they win a championship. And then that was their excuse to kind of now we know we're
let's take the gas off the pedal.
Let's have the worst draft ever in 2015. Let's do that. Their team was horrible last year. The worst draft ever. The only reason they finished halfway decent was because they got lucky with Devonta Freeman. That was it. But this year, as Font said it, I call it the redemption team. Their first 3 picks, Eddie Lacy, Arian Foster, Sammy Watkins, gambles, in my opinion. Sammy's foot, Lacy's weight, Foster's entire body.
I mean, we need Foster body cast at this point.
TCP playing for their redemption. They have acquired players that are playing for their redemption as well. I like Tyrod at quarterback. I think this is a team that will make the playoffs if these players all pan out.
I mean, Rashad Jennings,
outside of
Wolford.
Outside of their stars, it is not good and nice to look at.
Like I said,
Ivory on the bench,
not bad. Like I said, I'm impressed with this team, how they've handled themselves. And how they've handled all the press and the media.
The humility.
However, I'm not impressed with this team or this roster at all. But you're headed in the right direction as far as getting the respect back in this league.
You know, I didn't think much of his team because I wasn't thinking about Jacobs during the draft. He was in the back of my mind. I actually looked at it earlier today, and it's really not. It's along with Goodman, I think it's one of the sleeper teams we have. Drew Brees, and he doesn't have one really solid workhorse back, but he's got Danny Woodhead, Dion Lewis, and Theo Riddick. I mean, combined, that makes like 1.5 of one running back. So, I mean, it's not bad. The best 1-2 punch at receiver in the league, DeAndre and Julio, thanks to the trade with Michael Fontanella. Sterling Shepard starting in the flex. Stole Chris Hogan from me. Sports has to have Jared Cook in his lineup. But Font was very, very vocal about this squad. What do you think?
I'll be quick about this squad. He's got some absolute rocks at wideout. I thought he went Danny Woodhead way too early. I think he went him, 4th round?
I think
5th. I think
it was one of those picks.
I think he went Julio Hopkins, and then his next pick was either I think it was Woodhead, yeah.
I believe he made one of those, a Zach Didino type pick where he realized there wasn't a lot of star power left. He wanted to get who he thought was the safest guy.
I mean, I just feel like San Diego's not just going to give up on Melvin Gordon. They didn't waste a high draft lottery pick on him. To just let Danny Woodhead, they know what Danny Woodhead is. He's a very good complementary piece as far as the passing game goes. This team is, first of all, Sports, I want to apologize on behalf of the douchebags in Google Docs. That was fucked up. I mean, we can't help it that we have certain
David Goodman drunk in the back.
Yeah, I mean,
drunk in the back.
They just fed you to the sharks, and we're sorry about that. You're a good kid. You don't deserve to be bullied. The league's reviewing that, by the way, and possibly will be handing out disciplinary action in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. It's a long process. This team is going to be a playoff. Is not.
I
don't know.
Undecided.
Undecided could be great. Could be great if Dion Lewis and Woodhead make Jacobs look great. Other than that, I think Barnes is a solid tight end. I think Sterling Shepard, I think you're a year too early on Sterling Shepard. I think Sterling Shepard will be the next not Odell, because nobody can be, but I think
The
he'll
next
be
Victor Cruz, possibly.
the next healthy Victor Cruz. I think you're a year early on Sterling Shepard, but it's a nice pick if you're a Giant fan. This is a borderline team. Not great, not horrible. Tony Romo, Forte, Amir Abdullah, Brandon Marshall, Dante Moncrief, Gronkowski, John Brown, Seahawks D, Chandler Catanzaro, Marvin Jones, Sammy Coates, Julius Thomas on the bench. Portia, what do you think of this team, real
I look
quick?
at this team, and I just think about Twan. I feel like Twan is pulling my heartstrings with a couple of these picks. Abdullah, come on. Abdullah, Romo, Gronk, these are all porch picks. And I love it.
And that's not a compliment.
These days, past couple of years, it might be. All right, I've had past couple of years haven't been bad.
All right.
Then we got, but no, let's be serious for a moment. This is a team, again, another team I looked past. I like it. Romo, I think Romo is going to be good. Forte, I think Forte is going to be solid. Abdullah is going to probably end up being the X factor to see if he can live up to my expectations from last year. Marshall's a stud. Moncrief is going to be big. John Brown in the flex, and he's also got Marvin Jones on the bench.
Yeah,
Julius
I like
Thomas,
this team.
Seahawks D, and the game changer of all game changers, Rob Gronkowski. Twan makes the playoffs.
Yeah, Twan's a surefire playoff team this year. I like Twan's squad. He didn't panic. I was sat near him at the draft. A couple guys that he was about to draft went right before his pick was up, and he stayed cool, calm, collected, and he had a nice draft. I think this team is definitely a playoff team. Good job, Twan. Happy Thanksgiving, Amir Abdullah. I'd like to talk about the Long Island Pickers. It pains me deeply to bring up this team because I do not like this team. As people, I like Connor James Gordon. I won't even get started on his co-owner. Let's just get to the team before I go on a rant.
I wish Dom was there to see
Ben-
the updated trophy.
Ben Roethlisberger, man, Dom's in Poconos. Ben Roethlisberger, Ezekiel Elliott, Gio Bernard, Julian Edelman, Larry Fitz, Greg Olson, Coleman, Vikings D, Gostowski, Le'Veon Bell. Guys, we actually have a draft party. You guys haven't been to one in 7 years, but we do have them. You should try to come to one maybe once in a while. Be a little bit more committed to this league. Excuse me, I got a little out of hand there. I think this is not a playoff team solely for the fact that Don Bob is going to be calling the shots, and Don Bob will somehow manage to fuck up this team. This is a nice looking team, not going to lie. It's got some nice names, it's got some nice veteran presence, it's got some nice guys, some nice rooks, Zeke. Don Bob will somehow find a way to fuck this team up. The only hope for this team is if Connor James Gordon can take the reins a little bit. This kills me. This could be a playoff team. I'm praying to God it's not because I hate Dom. But I'm gonna say right now, this is not a playoff team solely based on the ownership of this team. It's got great pieces, but it will not make the playoffs. And a real quick side note, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but Dom, I know Dom Bob missed the draft. He missed the updates we made to the trophy that Dennis Hassett made to the trophy. Dom, I hate Dom so much.
So take a break, gather your thoughts.
I'm getting a little teary eyed here
Gather
because
your thoughts on that. My only. I think you hit the nail on the head. Let me just add my one thing that was not touched
please, real quick. I used to love Don Bob. I was a big Don Bob fan.
Never been a Dombo fan.
I we can say, somebody asked me last night that they thought the bugs were squashed. The bugs are squashed, but they're those bugs that come back from the dead. They're just still alive a little bit, and they'll always be there. I mean, we all know who feuds all this is. It's got to be the TH. That's all I'll say. But I mean, I hate Dom Bove. I'm sorry, Dom. I like your family. I hate you. Porch, you have anything to say?
Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott. Let's see what happens.
Dom
is his own worst enemy this year.
Dom, I hate you so much. Boys, this wraps up our post-draft preseason video. Hope you enjoyed it. Got some insight, got a little taste of other teams in the league and what you'll be seeing when you face them. It's going to be a fun season again. We have a lot of committed owners and a little bit of dead weight that we'll need to shed throughout the course of the season, possibly. It's going to be a fun season. I can't wait. We in Porch will try to make videos as often as possible because we know you guys like watching them during your classes. But it's going to be a fun season. Porch, you going to have anything to say before we wrap it up?
I think a couple of people were looking forward to some sort of preseason rankings. We're going to hold off on those until, like last year, before week 4 in that video, we'll bring out the weekly updated rankings. I think those are the only ones that really matter. But I think it's going to be a great year. I think we got a lot of great teams. I think a couple of teams out for revenge, redemption. Biggest game of the year, as always, Font versus L.I. Pickers. I think we're in for a wild year this year, Font. You ready?
Everybody buckle up. We will see y'all soon. I hate them.
Yeah, I know.